Grammar.
Listen. Keep quiet, please.
Five things we discuss. That is air, fire, soil, sky, and water. These five things which are essential for our body. All of us we know. Similarly, these things are the part of materialistic noun. How many kinds of noun do we study in English? There are five kinds of noun in English. So, first of all, we will study about the noun. There are five kinds of noun we study in English. In Hindi, how many kinds of noun are there? There are three kinds of noun. But on the basis of concept of English grammar, we divide noun broadly on two bases. One is that materialistic noun, second is abstract noun. What is materialistic noun? Around us, whatsoever we see around us, it is all related to the materials. It's a materialistic kind of noun. Out of these, our human body is also composed by five elements, which is also the part of materialistic noun, material. Later on, we study abstract noun. What is abstract noun? Yes, any out of you? What is abstract noun? All of you have studied well in your school, in your junior classes. Why you are not recollecting, memorizing? Why you have forgot?
Stars, answers. Anybody else?
Reason that just we have crammed. We have become the crammer of the rules of English grammar. That's why time and again we are to learn about the English grammar. I have observed this thing, I have experienced this thing in college, university, even in competition classes. They are preparing their competition, but they don't know the concept of English grammar. English grammar is not a tough task. It's very scientific. Scientifically, our human body works as a workshop for knowing the English grammatical topics. All different parts of speech that we study in English, all these are produced and created from our human body. In English we study there are five kinds of noun. One is particular noun, common noun, collective noun, material noun and abstract noun. Five kinds of noun we study. First three noun, that is particular noun, common noun and collective noun. These nouns are branded, labeled, secondary, indirect. But materialistic kind of noun and abstract noun, these are the prominent nouns in English literature, in English grammar. These are the original nouns, direct nouns. Why do I use the word direct for these nouns? Why do I use it? Because by these five elements our human body is made. These are very natural things. Students of competition study, there are two kinds of grammar. One is that permanent grammar and second one is temporary grammar. What is permanent grammar? Permanent words of English is permanent grammar. That we are studying, that we have studied and we'll study that are the part of fixation. Certain words are there. Word itself has a great magic, music and miracle. When you will repeat the word, when you will speak the word correctly and accurately, then word itself conveys its meaning. Until and unless you will not use the word practically in your speaking, reading, writing and listening, you will not understand it. You cannot keep it in your long memory in your mind. So for knowing this thing, you must go through the concept of English grammar. All English grammatical words that we speak, read, write and listen.
Sorry, please study the poem.
Sorry?
One poem you have to teach them.
Any poems, sir?
Poetry.
Okay. Perhaps all of you have studied William Wordsworth.
नहीं, आप इस टेक्स्ट से पढ़ाइए, बुक से पढ़ाइए.
Any book, any poem do you have in your book?
Poem number 20.
Which poem, sir?
Elementary school class 8.
98, page number 98, please. A thing of beauty.
So second poem है.
Sorry, sir.
Second
Elementary school classroom in Asbab. Page number 92.
Sorry, sir, this poem is so irrelevant to me. I cannot explain it in detail. But about John Keats, that is more related to my research philosophy, in which I have done my doctorate in English literature. So I can explain it openly and more clearly than other things. Yes, sir. Thank you. Thank you.
Which poem of John Keats?
John Keats, A Thing of Beauty, sir.
Think of yes. Please continue.
All of you have heard the name of John Keats, who is the prominent poet of English literature. There are so many similarities between the notion of John Keats and Swami Vivekananda. Swami Vivekananda, who belongs to the field of social reformation, and John Keats, who says, who believes in the philosophy of unknown things. He wants to convey the things that unheard music is more sweeter than heard. Unspoken is more powerful than spoken. Unwritten is more powerful than written. Unread is more powerful than read. Unlistened is more powerful than listened. Why time and again he repeats this unword, about which Swami Vivekananda expressed his whole audiences and spectators in America in 1893. He addressed this message to the persons that something is there in your mind in the form of idea. That idea can turn your whole scenario of your world, of your body, of your mind. This oneness created by this Swami Vivekananda. So similarly, William Wordsworth, if you study, who is the priest of nature, who is the worshipper of nature, who who says that nature is our true friend. So we are to be friendly and familiar with nature. These worldly people may defeat you, may betray you, may deceive you at any rate. And he suggests to her sister that love with nature, like the nature. Nature is our true friend. We will go through a number of poems of William Wordsworth. There are so many similarities between William Wordsworth, John Keats and Swami Vivekananda. According to William Wordsworth, what is a poem? If we critically analyze the poem, what is a poem? Spontaneous overflow of our powerful feelings that are collected, recollected in tranquility of our heart and mind. Poem is not that which is required to take up the words from our dictionary. There is no need to use a dictionary. Words come naturally in our mind. When we spend a lot of time with nature, then nature infuses us with a lot of energy, inspiration, encouragement, motivation. So it's the power of nature. What is nature? What is nature? Yes? जी? What is nature? Nature क्या है? Anyone? Any word, any idea you can express that. What is nature? Externally, we count in the form of nature. According to William Wordsworth, trees, plants, flowers, mountains, all geographical changes, these are the form of nature. But one nature, what's the nature of our mind? What's the nature of our heart? What's the nature of our body? That we study in physical science. So this is the nature according to William Wordsworth, who is a doctor of doctors. He is not simply a poet. We address this thing that by emerging one single idea in your mind that can turn the whole table of your mind. Similar ideas you will find in John Keats' poem, a thing of beauty. What does the mean of beauty? Beauty means the color. What does the mean of beauty? John Keats says that beauty lies in the eyes of beholder. Beauty lies in the eyes of beholder. How do we judge? How do we observe? How do we examine the things? That is the beauty. Beauty is not the external things. Here he speaks about the beauty of our ideas and our mind. Our mind, who is the storehouse of informations, instructions, directions, different type of knowledge, is ordered by our mind, not by heart. It's the duty of mind. What's the duty of mind? To record the ideas. How many electronic devices we are using nowadays, day by day? These are being invented in the form of software and hardware. From where these are emerged? From the human mind, which is the God-gifted thing. Why we don't have the healthy ideas for producing such things for the development of our nation and society? If our daily routine is according to the nature, how does nature inspire us? How does the sun inspire us to spend a lot of time with natural changes? Then we can become the true learner. Otherwise, we have become the crammer only. If we want to be the true experimentalist, true researcher, true scientist, then we are to spend a lot of time with nature. Maximum time we are to spend with nature. About which William Wordsworth has written, John Keats has written. In this poem, John Keats speaks about the romanticism. It was the romantic age in England. All of you are the student of arts, so you are well known about the 1789. What happened in the history in 1789? There was a great event. It created an upheaval in the whole world. What was that?
Excuse me, sir. So please recite the poem and translate it for us.
Okay, sir. I'm correlating the ideas. History behind it is behind the literature.
We have come to know that.
Sorry, sir.
We have come to know that. We have already discussed about the ideas.
Okay,
Please recite.
thank you. In 1789, there was French Revolution. What happened at that time? There was terror, fear, horror in the minds of the people. So, William Wordsworth was totally inspired by these ideas, and he started writing about in praise of nature, with having the collaboration of S.T. Coleridge in 1798. It was the lyrical ballads which was written by them, just for addressing the message of nature. Similarly, please pay your attention in the next. A thing of beauty is a joy forever. Its loveliness increases. It will never pass into nothingness, but will keep a bower quiet for us and a sleep, full of sweet dreams and health and quiet breathing. A thing of beauty is a joy forever. Beauty of our ideas. He expresses here, art is long, life is short. Artistic things, musical things that externally we used to see, used to listen, that are forever, that are permanent. But our life is short. Therefore, and every morrow are we are breathing, and a flowery band to bind us to the earth, spite of despondence of the human earth, of noble nurtures of the gloomy days. Nature plays a multi-dimensional role. Nature nurtures us like a mother. Nature treats us like a doctor. Nature teaches us like a teacher. It is only the nature which plays multi-dimensional, multi-sided, multifaceted roles. Nature is omnipotent, omnipresent, omniscient with us. Like Almighty Lord, Almighty God, who is always with us in the form of words. If we speak the words, if we chant the words, then we feel the emergence of God with us, emergence of Lord with us. Likely that nature lives with us. of all the unhealthy and over-darkened days made for our searching. Yes, in spite of all, some shape of beauty moves away the pale from our dark spirits, such the sun, the moon,